Hey friend, have you ever felt stuck when it comes to figuring out who you are in the online space? Like stuck at a certain level of income or feeling like things just aren't working, but you also feel delayed or even frozen in actually making moves and executing towards next steps in your business? Well, if so, based on many questions that I've no doubt incoincidentally been getting this week, as well as my own experiences, you are absolutely not alone. In this episode, my goal is to give you some practical steps to get unstuck and start making moves toward advancing your impact and income in the online space. And I'm thinking I'm going to make it a 2, possibly 3-part series because there are so many different reasons why we get stuck in different seasons. I feel like Dr. Seuss right there. And I could literally be on here for hours addressing each of them. So let's do a series. This is important because I can give you all the strategy in the world to implement. You can pay for courses and coaching, learn all the things, but without cracking through this stuckness for whatever reason, you're not going to be able to allow that strategy to take you to the places that I know from experience it can get you if your mindset is dialed in. So grab something to take notes with because I'm going to give you some prompts, and I hope this is massively helpful in helping you to get unstuck and stay unstuck. At every level of your business and of your brand and of your evolution, you're going to hit upper limits. You're going to hit thresholds that you need to break through to get unstuck. And so I hope this series will help you along your journey. All right, let's get into it. Hey mama, I'm Ashley, and this is the Maverick Mompreneur podcast, where you're free and encouraged to own your desire to create and scale an impactful, discoverable online brand and business in the midst of motherhood. A business that's aligned with your mission, lifestyle desires, personality, and zone of genius without wasting your time on the hustle and grind hamster wheel that is social media. Can I get an amen? Sis, you are a maverick, an original, willing to stand out in your authenticity, defy expectations, and do life and business outside the box. In our world, if it's not aligned with who we are, it's a hard pass or a brave pivot. So if you're here for the powerful identity shift and transformation from boss babe or boss mom to aligned CEO, building a one-of-a-kind, influential, hustle-free online business that will produce long-term impact and multiple streams of income through SEO, affiliate marketing, and courses while building yourself in the process, well, pop in those AirPods, grab that cup of coffee or glass of wine, and let's get growing. I received a listener question regarding Social Seller to CEO Academy, which is currently open for enrollment. And it was a great question. So I wanted to answer here on the podcast in the same way I answered to her, because if one person has a question, one thing I've learned is that more than one person has the same question. So she asked, what about the person like me who isn't necessarily all in with social selling or a network marketing company by any means? I have affiliate accounts, but they're not my thing, and has already made the transition into being their own brand and monetizing that way, but could still use some help getting things moving. Not really sure if it's more tactical measures or accountability or new strategies. Would this Social Seller to CEO Academy be for them, or would it be a different offer from your wonderful selection of offers? Such a good question. And my answer to this listener was yes, this would 1,000% be it. The focus of the program, although it is meant to be an offer and a program that can grow with you, and that's why there is pre-work to capture those on the journey who have basics to cover, like building a website, aligning their brand, but it goes all the way up through building out a funnel for an offer that you would like to be evergreen. So this is a program that can absolutely grow with you. The focus for me is really on helping women to create and launch and market offers of their own. But for a lot of my clients, they need the time freedom from this business that they've built to be, in many cases, pretty successful, but it's taking up all of their time and it's not allowing them to really work within that zone of genius or to allow their creativity to flow and to offer something that could be massively helpful to their larger audience outside of the people who are going to join them in business or buy their products. So this is something that works works for women who are in social selling or are not. The systems are the same. I've literally used these same systems for automation in a variety of different businesses. That does not change. But what I love to teach is creating and launching profitably brand offers. So something that is just your own, that's uniquely from you, that's an asset for your brand, and a way that you can monetize the time spent on social media and or create a passive sales funnel that you can utilize to create impact and income in that way too. So that's what I love to help women do. So in answer to this question, yes, 1,000%, whether or not you even have a social selling business, this is for you. If you don't, I do encourage you to partner with an affiliate network, whether that's Amazon, reward style, it could be a particular company, but set up some passive sales for yourself in a different way than just marketing on social media, which is the way that I teach in the academy, and go from there. So yeah, I hope that helps. I did also want to mention that when it comes to Social Seller to CEO Academy 2.0 enrollment, about a day in order to snag the early bird CEO mindset mini mind bonus. If you enroll in the program either on a payment plan or paid in full, this mindset is going to be sold as a standalone, but it's going to be close to the price of the whole entire program. So to me, if you're on the fence, I hope this is like, yes, absolutely, I'm in. We are going to go over 3 different topics on 3 small group Zoom coaching sessions. 1, cracking through your upper limits. 2, uncovering and working within your unique zone of genius and designing a business around that. And then 3, conquering and breaking through your fear of failure or your fear of success. So again, this mindset mini mind is going to be something that can grow with you, and you'll have lifetime access to those sessions, and hopefully they'll benefit you now and in the future. So if you're interested in Social Seller to CEO Academy, particularly if you want to get in on that bonus, head to www.socialsellertoceoacademy.com and check out the information, snag a spot if it feels aligned, and you can also check out the link that is in the show notes of this episode. Okay, let's get to it. Hello, Ashley here. I cannot believe we are already into August. Where did the summer go? Taylor, my daughter, is getting ready to go back to school, and she's going to be in first grade, which means full day. And I always thought, oh man, that will be like the day when I'll have all this time to myself. And now all I want is time with her. So if you have little ones who aren't in school yet, just cherish the time. Like don't even think about the alternative because anyway, I'm actually re-recording this episode because I thought I saved it, but apparently I didn't. But whenever that happens, I always think, all right, this specific thing has never happened, losing a podcast episode. But I think when it comes to content, if you lose something that you write, I mean, as long as it's not a thesis, you just get a chance to rewrite it or re-record it from experience. And so hopefully this will be more helpful and more coherent than it would had I not lost the first recording. So we are talking about how to get unstuck. And the way that I'm going to go about this series is going over reasons why we get stuck, because there are many. It's not just here's the reason why you get stuck and that's it. Easy solution. So today we're going to talk about 2 reasons why you might be getting stuck and also solutions. So I hope that if either one of these resonates, that I have some actual ideas for you that can help you to move forward, execute on your next steps, and all of those things that keep the ball rolling in your business and also in your life. Number 1 is intention. And I'm going to go into this, what I mean by intention. So firstly, sometimes we get stuck or feel stuck in our business because our intention is not behind that thing or those things that we're doing. So think about what it is that you're doing. And do you want those things to escalate, to scale? Do you want them to go well? Sometimes we aren't working on something because we actually don't want to be doing it and it's out of alignment. Maybe it wasn't in the past a way of building your business, a company that you're partnered with, maybe your whole brand or your niche. It just doesn't feel in alignment anymore. And so part of the reason why you may be feeling stuck is that your intention is not actually behind it. And it's really hard to come up with next steps towards something that your heart and your intention isn't behind. And then further, maybe you're sitting there thinking, okay, so that's me. I don't know what my intention is though. Like, what would be my next moves? What would be my next intention? And that's okay. That's actually a great place to be. What it takes though is getting curious. So not getting frozen, not freezing up, get curious. I want you to grab your journal and either now, pause this, or later on after you listen to the episode, ask yourself this question. If money or other people's opinions were not an issue, what would your next move be? So if you didn't have to worry about an income gap for a time, or if so-and-so wasn't watching, etc., etc., what would your next move be? What would it be today? What would that next move be this week, or for the quarter, for the year, or even 5 years? And you can really start granular, like today, what would your next move be? Or whatever feels comfortable, but allow yourself to really think through that. What would you be doing? What would you want to do? What would you be excited about moving forward with? Because sometimes that's it. If your attention is not there, you're not moving forward. And I know this sounds kind of cliche, but I promise this is what alignment is all about. And when you feel aligned in what you're doing and it feels good, even if it doesn't seem to be the quickest way to creating this impact and income, but it feels good and you want to be doing it, you want to be taking action. I mean, maybe not 100% of the time, because there's always going to be things in business that we don't necessarily love doing, no matter how much you've outsourced. But when you're feeling stuck, I feel like the hardest thing, at least for me, and I know for a lot of the women who I work with, trying to like proverbially eat the frog, or whatever that phrase is, where you're supposed to like do the thing that you hate first, I guess. But when you're stuck and you're really in that place where you're not even able to move forward at all, thinking about doing something that doesn't feel good or sound fun at all, I don't think that's the answer. I've never been able to get unstuck by eating the frog. I'm sure there's a time and place for that strategy, but what has worked historically for me when I feel stuck is really getting clear with myself, being authentic and honest with myself and my audience, because you can only fake it for so long if you are doing something that feels out of alignment until you either burn out, it becomes clear that you're not being authentic to your audience and yourself and those around you, or you feel stuck. And so maybe that's you. Maybe it's that the intention to move forward isn't there because you don't really want what you're doing to go well, because you can't actually imagine yourself doing that long term. So that is the first reason why you may feel stuck, and a suggestion or two for how to get unstuck. And now we're going to shift gears a little bit, because this is actually in response to a question from one of our Elevate Academy Facebook community members. That's my free group. If you're not in there, get on in there, girl. There's a link in the show notes, or you can always just go to the link in my profile on Instagram or Facebook, and there's links to that free group there. But this was a question from one of our members, and she said, I'm curious how you come up with and execute your ideas so fast. Overthinker here, wishing I could execute that fast. Firstly, I'm totally a reformed overthinker, like completely a reformed overthinker, but overthinking is one reason why we can get or feel stuck. So step one in that is making sure that you are aligned, because once your brand is aligned, it does feel authentic and true to who you are and what you're there to do. And that's dialed in. I promise you that makes it a lot easier to move quickly. But I'm going to tell you specifically about how it is that if and when you see me making moves quickly and doing lots of different launches, where that comes from. Because a lot of times we see something and we think, oh my gosh, like how is it that they're whipping out all these offers? So I'm going to tell you my process, and I hope that that helps you with yours as well. So the piece of advice for this, if you feel like, I just can't execute on this idea that I have, I recommend that you take time to map out, once you've got your intention set, once you feel like you're aligned with what you want to do, map out the big picture, as big as you can, as big as you yourself have gotten results in whatever niche you're in, and map out the ideal client avatar journey. So I like to think of this as almost literally, this is the visual in my mind. I never verbalized this until now, and you're going to think I'm a total like 80s kid dork, but I picture it as the Candyland map. So the beginning of the journey for my ideal client avatar is going to be right at the basics. Like either they are starting their brand or they are rebranding and they're starting from an aligned place. And so if you know my product suite and you've gone through some of it, align your brand is that first step. So whether I'm working with someone one-on-one there or they are going through that course self-paced, that is like the first part of the journey. But I didn't have that offer to begin with, but I'm just telling you. So there's the beginning, and then the end, like over up where like you're getting towards where the king is, you pass the gumdrop forest and the place with Queen Frostine. I just loved her so much. And then at the further end of the journey is going to be someone who is ready to scale their offers. So they do have their own offers. They are monetizing their brand. They've got things dialed in for automation and they're ready to like build out an evergreen funnel with their offer. They're up there, right? They're looking for higher level business strategies. And then in between there, at all those, think of it as the stop marks along the way, along Candyland, there are different points in the journey for which I want to make sure that my ideal client avatar is covered. So that if someone comes to me and they're anywhere on my continuum, I know what can serve them best from what I have to offer. Or I know if we're working together one-on-one, this is the place where we will start and go from there. So when you're first getting started, when you're first starting to create your own offers, you're first starting to market your own products or services, I think that it can be helpful when you break things down into more manageable chunks, both for yourself and for your audience. Now, you may start with a masterclass. So maybe you start with a masterclass that's going to give your ideal client avatar a win, a singular win, something that they can tangibly take away, but it's super valuable and it's going to get them started on their journey. And then you want to make sure that you are, and your offers are that next step for them. You want to make sure that you are offering them that next piece that they're going to need that's in a manageable way. And then of course you can take all of those pieces and you can package it up into a larger program, a more premium high ticket program that includes a lot of those smaller benchmark offers. There's so many ways to do this, literally so many different ways. But the point being that these smaller offers for you feel doable. So for example, when I was getting ready to go towards the launch of Social Seller to CEO Academy, I knew what was going to be in that program. And I had a lot of it already fleshed out, but I knew that there were some prerequisites that there were people in my audience who are on that Candyland journey for my ideal client avatar who needed some prerequisites in order to want to make that investment and work with me within Social Seller to CEO Academy. Some clients of mine who have worked with me before, they were already there and I knew that they would just be ready to jump in. They had the prerequisites, but I knew that I needed to launch in quick succession because I had the big picture of where and when I was going to be launching Social Seller to CEO. I launched Align Your Brand because I knew that there were people in my audience who wanted to really dial in a personal brand online. So everything from their avatar to their content pillars to their message, title, tagline, their colors, their fonts, their schedule, the way they were going to monetize, all of those pieces that go into a personal brand, an aligned personal brand. And then there were also women in my audience who had been established, but they were ready to make a pivot and they needed to rebrand and realign their brand. And so I offered Align Your Brand. I also knew, because I had mapped it out, that the next step in order for Social Seller CEO Academy to be the next step and to not feel overwhelming and to be in alignment with the journey would be Evergreen Your Brand. So I did the marketing and launch for Evergreen Your Brand, which is another self-paced course teaching how to set up click by click in a simple, effective way, a website/blog for your brand that's optimized, monetized, going to get you found in search on Google for what you want to be found for. So giving you one of those basic building blocks of a larger marketing system that would make it a lot easier to jump into Social Seller to CEO Academy and do more of the higher level stuff when it comes to creating and launching an offer, so that it's not all manual. You can start utilizing your website right away. Okay. So I knew that those two things would make sense. And so I launched them quickly because I knew I had the intention. So this goes back to number one. What is the intention? Where are you going? Where are you taking your audience? And just be clear, authentic, and honest with your audience about that, with yourself. And it will flow so much easier if you've got that big picture mapped out and then the journey chunked down. And then before you know it, you have your product suite built out, and it makes total sense for your ideal client avatar. You are the go-to person for them because you have created a journey that's logical, that feels doable, that is sequential for where they are at, and they can clearly see where on the journey they can jump in. Or if someone asks you, hey, what do you have? Like the question that I read through in our promo, listener question asking, is this program for me, or what else would be? I know very clearly, especially if I know the person's business, where they can jump in and hit the ground running and make moves and keep moving forward and not feel overwhelmed, so overwhelmed that they can't move forward. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to practice what I preach. Those are two reasons why sometimes we can get stuck, and some ideas for how to overcome and get unstuck and keep moving forward and building the impact and income that you were meant to and that we need from you, that your people need from you. I hope this was helpful. I will see you back next week. Don't forget that we are open for enrollment for Social Seller to CEO Academy, and we are going to extend the early bird bonus because I'm getting this episode out late. We're going to extend that until Thursday, August 4th. So you have basically another day, if you're listening to this, to get in on the CEO Mindset Mini Mind, which is going to be 3 small group Zoom coaching sessions on the topics of cracking through your upper limits, uncovering and working within your zone of genius, and conquering your fear of failure and or success, which we're going to talk about in this series a little bit, but this is going to be a transformative experience. It's going to be something that is going to help you to truly move forward and not spin your wheels when you've made an investment in a program that can absolutely, speaking from experience, work for you and create massive impact and income. So until next Tuesday, have a great week and cheers to your impact. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. My goal is to help as many women in business online as possible to build strong, powerful, aligned, and profitable personal brands. The best way to show you appreciate this content is to screenshot and share on your social media or share with your team. Actually, even better would be to also leave a review for the podcast on whichever platform you're listening on. If you are looking for any additional support, you can always reach me via email at hello@elevatedwithashley.com. You can DM me on Instagram at Ashley R. Latimer, or join us in the free Elevate Academy for brand building, maverick marketers, and mompreneurs Facebook community. Can't wait to chat with you next week.